Hi, helpers and survivors. This is Darla Gale. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, and I decided to take a trip up to Paradise today for the first time. And I'd like to share my experience with all of you because at the end, I'm going to ask for some help with a gentleman named Frank who I met. A couple days ago, I got onto the Paradise Adopt a Fire Facebook group, and there's a message from a woman named Jennifer, and she said that her father was living in a trailer a couple doors down from his home that he had lost, and that he needed some help. She was worried about his safety and that he was going to be a harm to himself. So I jumped on Messenger with Jennifer and had her give me his phone number from a couple mobile phones that he had, and I reached out to him. And I didn't hear back, but I intended to go up to Paradise anyways because I wanted to experience what that was like up there so that I could be more emotionally prepared for what people had gone through. And even though I hadn't gone through anything close to what you guys have gone through, it gave me a little bit of a glimpse of what life is like up there when people are returning up there to look at their homes or taking their kids to school or whatnot. So, with that said, my husband and I packed up today and we stopped at a Starbucks in Paradise. I still hadn't heard from Frank, so I hadn't planned on meeting him. But as soon as we left the Starbucks, it started pouring rain, fog, so you couldn't see more than 100 yards in front of you. And I get a text from Jennifer, and she said, "Did you get in touch with my dad?" And I said, "I haven't heard from him yet." And she said, "Well, he talked to my mom, which is his wife, and he's expecting you." So I had the address and we drove up. Mind you, it's still pouring rain. We're getting flash flood warnings on our phone. That happened a couple times, and we kept on going. And we drove up this long driveway. I got in touch with Jennifer, put her brother on the phone so that he could actually help me find where his dad was, because all the homes were gone and it was just rubble, and I didn't know where to find his dad. I just knew he was in a trailer, but I didn't see any trailers. The fog was so dense and heavy. So Chris got on the phone with me and he directed me where to go. And he says, "Okay, so you want to go see the pool on the right hand side that's burnt, and then you want to go past that, make a left, and then you're going to see my dad's truck that's burnt here, and then you want to go past that. You're going to see a fence with a little hole in it that you can walk through." So I walked through that, and all on the phone with Chris, he's telling me how to get to the trailer. And I finally spot the trailer in front of me, and I hear a bunch of dogs barking, and I don't see Frank anywhere. So I yell out, "Frank, Frank," really loud. And he opens the door to the trailer and puts his head out and says, "Who are you? What do you want? And what do you need?" It was something like that. Very angry. Meanwhile, the German Shepherd had his head out the door, growling and barking. So I'm wondering, okay, do I turn around now and go back to my car where it's safe? Or do I go with what God's telling me to do and go into this trailer and see Frank? So my faith is bigger than my fear at this point, and I walk up to the trailer and I knock on the door. And Frank opens it and he says, "Well, I'm not going to come out there. I've been standing in the rain all day. So you're going to come in here, or what are you going to do?" It was something like that. And so I walk up and I open the door and I put my hand down so the German Shepherd could sniff my hand so I could make sure that I wasn't going to get attacked. And I walked in and I sat down in like a makeshift chair that he had. It was like a chair that you would find like in another type of, I don't know what you call it, but it was like a makeshift chair. So I sat down there. The conditions of the trailer were awful. And I sit down. I also do notice that Frank has a knife in a holder in his belt buckle. And he must have noticed me look at it because he said, "Don't worry about this." And I said, "I'm not worried about this. I'm more worried that you're going to use it on you," because I knew he was thinking about harming himself. So we got to talking about that and then some other things. And he had a cat and a German Shepherd and another dog. So by the time I was there 20 minutes, the dog was all over me and we were friends, and it made it a little bit more comfortable and less anxiety producing than when I first got there. So Frank and I talked, and I asked him, "What do you need? What do you need right now?" And he said, "I need dry clothes." Well, he's wearing 3 shirts to keep him warm, but they're all completely wet. He's got these jeans on that are just covered with dirt and mud. And he's telling me that these are the clothes that were on his back when he had to evacuate. He tells me a story that he literally had 4 seconds. If it was 4 seconds longer, that him and his wife would not have made it. And they had cyclones of fire on all sides of them. And he got out and saw people on the street. In fact, I think 6 of his neighbors didn't make it, which is so sad. So we sat and talked for a while. And he told me that he had talked to a couple pastors and a couple social workers, and that thought he had this thing called PTSD. And PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. It's when you have gone through a traumatic incident and where there's danger, imminent danger, or you've witnessed something that's life-threatening. And he went on to tell me that he sees fire 3 to 4 times a day. Just cyclones of fire is all he sees, even though it's not happening. So I was able to explain to him how trauma is processed through the brain. The more he talks about it, the more it's processing out. So that was a good thing. So eventually we warmed up to each other. And, I asked him when I walked in if I could give him a hug, and he was, totally against that. By the time we left, we both gave each other a big hug, and I know that he was grateful that I'd stopped by. So he took me out, and we walked his property. He showed me the baby grand piano that was burned, and his banjo and his guitars, and basically the things that meant a lot to him. And he showed me his tool, his work shed, and all the tools that he lost. And all he wants also are some tools so he can rebuild some things and get a shelter over his head instead of this trailer. So I spent a long time with Frank. I've adopted Frank and his family, and really want to work to get him the things that he needs. He needs the necessities. When I asked him, "What do you need?" he goes, "I need the basics. I need toilet paper. I need food." He is as thin as a rail, and he does. He needs the necessities that I know a lot of people have already received, but when you're not on Facebook and you don't have a supportive, loving, kind group like this Paradise Adopt a Family, where are you going to know or find out about the necessities and that people are providing things for you? You don't. So I sat there with a list and I wrote down his size, what type of shirt he had on, what size pants he needed, shoes. And what I would like to do is get a Amazon wish list together and add the things that he specifically told me he needed with his size: blankets, pillow, and toilet paper, all that stuff that you need, toothbrush, all those little things that really make a difference in your day-to-day life. So I'm going to go ahead and create an Amazon wish list for him. I will post that I'm creating it for him, and when those items come, I will meet with his daughter or his son, or go back up there and hand deliver these items to him. And it just made me realize how many thousands of people aren't on Facebook and don't have access to the support that you guys have on here. And I want to get this guy some help. So if this story, if you're a helper and you can help Frank, he's a great guy. Came across really upset and really angry in the beginning, and then has the most loving heart. If we can all get together and get the necessities that he needs, that would be amazing. I don't want to let Frank go. Frank is just an amazing, amazing man. I will post some pictures of me and Frank and his property. I got permission to do that and what he lost. But I will also do the Amazon wish list and try to get something together so I can go back up there and deliver to him, or at least get it to his daughter or his son to deliver to him. So wow, what an amazing experience meeting him, and from the beginning being so fearful and then walking through my fear and focusing on my faith and getting into that, into his trailer and just sitting with him and experiencing what he has to go through day after day. With those conditions, totally broke my heart. By the time we were both done, we were both in tears. So thank you for watching. And if you can help Frank, then just PM me, or I'll get this little Amazon wish list together. I'm not quite sure how to do it yet. Never done one of those. But I definitely want to move forward and get something done to take care of this guy. Thank you for watching, and bless all of you. As I was driving through the devastation up there, there are no words. And I thought of every single person in this group, how horrible it must have been for you guys. So my heart goes out to you. My prayers go up for you. And one day at a time, it's going to get better. It's not always going to be this way. So I just want to give you guys some hope too. And if you're not a part of my personal Facebook group, it's a closed group for Campfire Survivors. It's Campfire Survivors Daily Dose of Mental Health and Well-Being. And you can join that group, and we are there to give you emotional and mental health support. We don't have a lot. It's not a place to ask for RVs and things you can ask in here for, but it is a place to get some additional support. So with that said, I'm going to sign off, and thank you for watching. Bye.